All right. What's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday, the 8th of January. This is going to be another informal video where I'm just talking about a couple things that I've been doing recently. So first of all, of course, vinyl. This is some of the stuff I listened to the last few days. This is Vertigo by Wand, their newest release from last year, like over the summer. This is a great record. My good friend Nick and I went to Wand's tour when they were touring Vertigo. They started the tour like 2.5 weeks before the record actually came out, which was pretty sweet. The Chicago show was the first show on that tour, and they had vinyl, so of course I had to get the record because then I would have the record, like 2.5 weeks before it came out. And it's fantastic. They played most of the album at that show. There was only, I think, like a couple songs that they didn't do. But yeah, it's so good. It's so jammy and loose. For Wand, it's definitely lighter. It's diving further into that kind of like psych rock, art pop territory that they've been exploring recently since their 2017 album Plum. It doesn't fully abandon their heaviness. Like, there are still intense, like, distorted moments on here, but it's a lot more subtle. It's a lot more slow moving. Really, really fun to listen to. Very easy to put on at pretty much any time. Yeah, Wand, Vertigo. The next record I'll show is Mike Moss, Four Rivers Upstream. I hadn't heard of this record until very recently. It's really, really cool. It's got a lot of like Eastern influences. It's just 4 tracks. All of them are pretty long. Yeah, some really, really cool instrumentation on here. Some tabla, a lot of like instruments I've never heard of before, like the dumbeg, ektara. But yeah, cool textures and sounds. Very improvised, very free flowing. Definitely has the vibe of the album cover, where it's kind of just like a psychedelic exploration of the journey, like down like a river or something. At least like that's kind of how I hear it. Yeah, Mike Moss, Four Rivers Upstream. I think he has another record too that came out around this time period. That's sort of similar. It's on this very cool Fourth Stream label. So yeah, there is that. Next up, I'll show 3 more. This is the immortal Mississippi John Hurt. This is an amazing blues record. It's pretty much the best it gets when it comes to just a bluesman sitting there with a guitar and playing. I don't know what else to say. It's just like, it's so easy to put on. It's so emotional, and he's so like he's just so wise. I feel like I'm getting advice about life in almost every single song that I listen to of his. Yeah, great record. I also got this recently. This is the soundtrack of the movie Patton. I remember really liking this movie when I saw it. It's a pretty good soundtrack, I guess. There's this really awesome speech in the movie that's like contained as it's on the soundtrack as like the first track, so that's pretty cool. I don't know, I wasn't super into it when I listened to this recently. I did not listen to it all the way through. I kind of got bored of it and just put something else on. It's still cool to own though. I love the cover. And yeah, it's not always nice to own a soundtrack to a movie that I really like, even if, I guess, maybe I didn't like the soundtrack as much as I remember liking it, but it is what it is. Composed and conducted by Jerry Goldsmith, Patton. And then, finally, I was just listening to this morning. This is the soundtrack from the film More by Pink Floyd. Kind of sticking with the soundtrack theme. This is absolutely fantastic. I love Pink Floyd. They're probably my favorite band. This is like, I don't know, it's just gorgeous. It's like everything that a soundtrack should be. It's super dynamic. It's got a lot of like more like songy moments, and then a lot of like musical explorations. I have not seen the movie, but from what I understand, the movie is like pretty trippy and drug fueled, I guess. And there's no better band than Pink Floyd to create a soundtrack for a movie like that. There are tracks like Cirrus Minor, Green is the Color, and Quicksilver that are like really, they're like acoustic, but also there's these like kind of ambient textures to them. They're super slow moving. There's a lot of like field recording noises of like birds and stuff like that. And then there's some really, really heavy songs. Like this is a 60s record, like 1969 I think this came out. And the Nile song and Ibiza Bar are like two of the heaviest songs for their time period. Super intense. This is just like classic Roger Waters magic, I feel like. This record is not like super highly regarded even by Pink Floyd fans, I feel like. It's not thought of as being one of their best. And while I do agree with the general sentiment that this is probably not their best album, I still think it's a fantastic soundtrack. It's just really, really fun to listen to. It's so dynamic. There's all sorts of different types of music on here, and that just makes it a joy to listen to. Great record to put on in the morning, I feel like. So yeah, those are the records that I listened to recently. I'm also going to plug this show again. I'm playing a solo show on February 1st at Uncommon Ground in Lakeview. I'm going to be doing some guitar. I might sing a little bit, use some effects. It will be really fun. The ticket link is now live. So down in the description, I will link the tickets. Both of the other artists I'm playing with, Bryce Boyer and Garrett Frank, are phenomenal artists in their own right. So it'll be really, really fun. It's only like $10. So yeah, it would be great to see everybody there. I'm also going to talk about some flyers that I made. So I made this flyer for my buddy Alex band Big Chemical. They're playing over at the Hideout in a couple Tuesdays. This show is like 13 days from now, I think, with a couple other bands. And I also made this flyer over here on the right for my buddy Chapter, who's going to be doing a little weekender going into Michigan, playing Grand Rapids and then also Kalamazoo, I think, on the 24th, and then this flyer's for the 25th in Grand Rapids. So if I've got any friends in Michigan, please go see Chapter. He's a great guy. His band is fantastic. I did a couple tours with him last year, playing bass and playing drums. The music is amazing. I showed his record on my Best Local Releases of 2024 video. So yeah, definitely go support Big Chemical and go support Chapter. Thank you guys for hitting me up to make these flyers. As always, I'm always down to take on new design work. I'm currently working on an album cover for my buddy's band Wide Orbit, which hopefully I'll have done soon. Getting some drafts together for that right now. And yeah, like design work is really fun for me, so please hit me up if you ever need like a flyer for a show or an album cover or anything like that. And I also saw a couple shows this weekend. So on Saturday night, I saw my friend's band, or my friend who is an artist, I guess I should say, Oyemi. And they played like kind of a DIY show in their practice space, which was really awesome because they were supposed to play at a different DIY spot called The Attic, but the show fell through last minute. But they still kind of put a little event together, invited some friends, and I got some good footage of it that I put on the channel. And that was fantastic. I'd highly recommend listening to Oyemi. Her music is pretty awesome. Definitely a band in Chicago to be looking out for in 2025. And then I also saw Evan McIntosh and Sasha Uvarova play over at Record Breakers where I work. Evan McIntosh is like, I guess like a pop artist who is also like a producer and a multi-instrumentalist. They have a lot of records like already out, like a lot of music recently released, but they're super young. I think they're only like 20 or 21. And wow, super, super talented artist. It was a great show. You know, it was just a nice vibe in the crowd. Very good music. And I think it was their partner, Sasha Uvarova, played an opening set with a bunch of covers. There was a beautiful Adrian Linker song that was played, as well as a bunch of other fun stuff. Videos of both of those shows are on my channel. And yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to this weekend and the past couple days. I hope everybody else is doing well as well. I'll probably be back either tomorrow or in a few days with a really fun video that I have planned about some of the most slept-on Chicago releases of the past year and just like recent memory in general. So stay tuned for that. Have a good Wednesday, have a good week and weekend, and I will see you guys soon.